Hello, and welcome back to the Mid Am Podcast. We are your hosts. My name's Tyler Munns, and on the other side of the screen from me is my good friend Nathan Firmasu.
Hello.
And as always, this episode of the Mid Am Podcast is brought to you by our friends at Adele.
Hello.
Man, the putter, I will say, to skip ahead a little bit, today we're talking about slumps and just how tough golf is as a whole. But I will say, like, the putter is, for me, like, it's not great, but it's certainly not the part of my game that I am like really concerned about or really struggling with. Like, it feels fairly consistent, and that's because I went through a fitting with the Adele team for their new array lineup of putters, and we kind of sussed out my aim bias and to figure out, hey, what combination of hosel and alignment aid do I need along with the head shape to know that when I line up a putt and when I think I'm lining it up correctly, it's actually lining up correctly. And with the array line of putters that are engineered for adjustability and total putter customization, the putters from Adele take the guesswork out of putting. As I mentioned, with 4 different head shapes, 4 interchangeable hosels, and multiple alignment and weighting options. Now you and I can confidently roll it, knowing that our aim biases and stroke types are accounted for. You can learn more about the Array series of putters at adelgolf.com. That's EDELGOLF, because even one shot can change everything. And I'm really starting to vibe. I know you've been you started your relationship with the new putter hot and heavy, and you're still, I know that you're still rocking it, but I'm really we're really starting to get familiar with each other. We're figuring out what each other, what makes each other tick. I think it's the start of a really beautiful relationship. Me and my F3.
Yeah, for sure.
So
yeah, I'm already married. I'm wifed up, as they say.
Locked down.
Locked down. We have a kid
Put a
on the
ring on
way.
it.
Yeah, it's been good for me right from the get, but that's probably because I was already a really good putter, and
that's fair. That's you started that 100-meter race at about the 80. And I couldn't even get an Uber to the from the hotel to the track, so I'm a little bit behind. But
yeah, at the very least, I wasn't lacking for confidence. So there's that. Yeah,
battle. As we mentioned, or as I mentioned, I should say, for no particular reason, we're going to talk about golf slumps.
None at all.
Just kind of out of the blue, thought that it might be fun to talk about. I'm certainly in kind of I wouldn't quite call it mid-season because I think we're still a little early. We haven't even hit summer solstice yet.
Yeah, I don't think we're.
So maybe not the worst time to get a slump out of the way. But yeah, the reason I wanted to talk about it was like, so I got invited to go out and play at Tualatin Country Club, which, by the way, free ad. Whew, gosh, that is a nice place. I'll tell you what, the mark of a really nice place that takes pride in the condition of the course. Like, look at the tee boxes, manicured to perfection. Like that attention to detail of like how nice the tee boxes look. And I'm not just talking about level tee boxes, which is a novelty if you play golf or play at a particular course in Gresham, Oregon. Level tee boxes are it's really nice, but then you add in like the aprons around the tees, just everything around the tee boxes was just like so well manicured. I'm like, man, if you guys are doing that, can't imagine. It's like I can't wait to see what the rest of the course was like, and did not disappoint. But anyway, I just like I went out and I shot 86. I had a bunch of doubles. Part of it was like never played the course before. It is kind of tricky. The greens are very small. Greens were quick. I found every spot where you shouldn't miss. I I hit some good shots. Down the stretch, I didn't hit. I hit like I laid the sod over a couple of like really short wedge shots, like two in a row on the 16th and 17th. I had like 113 yards in, and I missed the green and bogeyed, and then I had a 90 yards in and missed the green and bogeyed on 17. Um, but apart from that, I hit the ball really well, but I still scored like a terrible, I mean, really bad score. And it was, but it's like, hey, I really wasn't really bummed about it just because like it was a new course, greens were quick and I didn't know my way around it. But then I went and played Persimmon, which I play 3 times a week. And like played in a money game and shot 85 with 4 doubles and a 3 putt. And, I was like 1 for 8 on up and downs from 25 yards out. Just like, and I missed 4 putts inside 6 feet. Part of that is like the greens are not healing well from punching, and they're in pretty bad shape. So one of the missed putts was like I hit my line and it just bumped off line like pretty severely. But some of the other ones is just like was just a bad putt, and just like I was like, dude, I also didn't feel like, apart from, I mean, I did have some pretty horrible swings, but like it's not like I was duffing the ball the entire day. So I was like, whoa, take a step back and like, what's going on? Like, what's the problem? And I just got so many things swimming in my head that I'm like, I'm very frustrated because I hate that is in the, like, that's in the chamber. Like that could come out. Like that, my bad day, 2 days in a row is that. Because I feel like I should be better than that. I feel like even when things aren't firing, that's too high of a score. And then like, looking ahead at the Oregon AM qualifier coming up, it's just like, dude, like if I'm doing that at 6,400 yards when it doesn't matter, it's like, what's that going to look like? So yeah, I mean, like, I just kind of want to talk through like golf is hard. You're rarely going to play your best golf. How do you cope with the fact that the other 90% of the time you're going to play like not, not up to your standards. And in some cases, like not anywhere near it, and like be okay with that and trust that like you'll get it back. Um, yeah, that's like that's the question. I don't know what that answer is because it's hard for me to feel like it's funny. 2 weeks ago, last week we were recording and
Mm-hmm.
I was saying, dude, I want to go back and play Chambers because I'm a much better player than I was the last time I played it. I want to go back and do XYZ because I'm a much better player when I played it. And then like 7 days later, I'm like, I have made zero progress. That's how I feel. I don't think that's true. It's probably not true,
No, it's not true.
but
Full stop.
it feels like it's true. It
Oh,
feels like, dude,
yes.
I shot 86s, 80, 85s, 86s, 87s last year too. So it's like,
Yeah.
where does that come in? How do I, how do I align with that as, yeah, I don't know. I don't even know the question. That's how like totally bamboozled I am.
Mm, that's fair. I mean, yeah, golf is a hard game. Um, I think we've all, if anyone's been playing this game long enough, we have all gone out and just done everything wrong in a round before. I think because it's that text that I sent you of that, the clip from the movie Replacements,
Yeah.
where it's like
Quicksand.
it's quicksand. You can be the best anything in the world and go out and it's just not flowing. It's not clicking, and you try harder and gets worse, and you try harder and it gets worse, and you try harder and it gets worse, and eventually you just stuck.
Yeah.
Um, like that movie, as like stupid and cheesy and wildly entertaining that it is, like that's one of the most poignant expressions of any, I think, experience of skill or craft or anything that you're trying to do. I mean, you get professional authors get writer's block,
Yeah.
and it doesn't matter how hard they try or how, like whatever they do to stoke the creative juices, or, you get the S word in golf is a pretty common one, right?
Hmm.
Like people just, they, doesn't matter how athletic or, gifted you are, stuff gets in there and then you're shook. And how do we get back to just letting it flow? um you can take all your tees and put them in your left pocket and turn your hat around backwards and get all the training aids or whatever. I think you have a tendency to um almost like beat your head against a bloody, like
Oh yeah.
into a pulp. You're like, this isn't going well, so I'm just gonna do it until my
Yeah.
hands fall off. And it's
Oh,
like that's a you're just digging at that
dude,
point.
like yesterday, I went when I was chipping, and it was just getting worse and worse and worse. Like I had to force myself to leave. If I
Mhm.
I would have stayed there, I'd still be there.
Yeah,
I genuinely would still be there.
yeah,
Um, if I didn't force myself to leave, and like all I wanted to do for the rest of the night was go back.
yeah,
That's all I wanted to do. And then this
yeah,
morning, it's all I wanted to do. I was like, oh, let's go fix it. And it's
yeah,
like, you know what? I think part of trying to mature is like recognizing that like that is this tendency I have to like want to try to brute force, you know, like reboot the system. And
yeah,
that's not going to work. It's never worked. It's not going to work. I need to just chill out for a day or two and then kind of come back to it with some fresh eyes. And like, you know, I made a Space Jam joke yesterday on
the
um,
secret sauce
yeah, I made
or
it well,
special.
or it's not even that. It's the aliens, stealing the talent.
Hmm.
It's like
Hmm.
I didn't lose, and this is like the rational part of my brain speaking. I'm going to say this. I don't believe it. Just like full transparency. I'm going to say this, but in like my core of my being, I don't believe it. But it's not like little aliens came and stole my technical skills overnight. Like
Yeah,
it's just you don't have to be very far off with golf to
yeah,
to hit some really horrible shots. Like you're talking millimeters and you're talking microseconds, from a sequencing and setup standpoint. And it's like if you're off just a little bit, it's really hard to do stuff, and or to like make the right type of contact, consistent contact. And I think like my tendency when I get frustrated is just to get quicker and quicker and quicker because I'm like, oh, like I get to the back of like my backswing or whatever, and my first thought is like, let's just get down to the ball as quickly. Like I want to get down. I want to finish this thing so I get it right as quickly as possible. And it's like, well, then I'm rushing, and then everything's out of whack. Um, and having like the like I guess it's like emotional maturity to like recognize it and force yourself to just be like, "Hey, dude, you don't got it today. Like you like something's off, and you're just gonna get more and more frustrated, and it's gonna ruin your whole day, and or like the next 2 days. Like just take a beat and then come back to it." And like I, it was like a concerted effort to try to do that today, and I failed. Like I went out in my backyard this afternoon. It was chipping balls, and it got really bad.
that may have been partially my fault too, though.
Not
Yeah,
really. I
I mean,
mean,
you were gonna do it anyway, but
yeah, no, I was certainly gonna
I
do it. I
I
dragged the
fueled
mat
those
out before you
flames.
texted me. Like, it was already out on the deck, like,
Yeah,
so it was gonna happen. It's just,
yeah.
um
I think that's one. You're definitely not alone in that. That like we want to go out and do better right now. I mean, that's literally the game of golf. That's
yeah,
what gets so many people hooked on the game of golf, is that I can do better. And then the frustrating thing is that when it's really not living up to what you know you're capable of. And yet, like you said, it's not like your skills just disappeared overnight. Um, it just fuels that, it stokes those flames even more so.
Yeah.
My initial thought, and the thing that I feel like I hear good players do, and maybe this is just what makes them good players, is that there's nothing to fix. Like you hit a bad shot, you just hit a bad shot. They don't
Yeah.
go,
Yeah.
what do I need to change?
Yeah.
Or like, what do I need to tweak? What do I need to do? You know, the is it an event or is it a pattern? Right? Like is
And
it?
I will say, with the full swing, I have made mega strides in that regard. Where
Yeah,
if I make a bad pass at the ball with a full swing, I'm like, yeah, it was just a bad shot. Like
yeah,
it just ended up poorly. But like, I don't need to think about my mechanics. It's just like, no, just kind of go into it and go through your process and like try to have good tempo, and like don't try to like force the issue, and it'll work itself out. Like my swing has improved. It's my problem right now is like, I think it's partially like a technical deficiency on the short game stuff. And then just like negative confidence,
mm,
and like just an immense amount of frustration around my ability to not get the ball in the hole from like 25 yards and in.
yeah.
You
And I
might
mean,
as well just add three to however it took me, however many strokes it took me to get to that 25-yard chip shot or whatever, just add three from there and move on to the next tee.
yeah. And I mean, I would agree. I think there's some technical stuff with your short game. We'll call it short game. I'd probably extend it back to, the, what'd you say, 25 yards or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, Stuff that I think is probably only in there because a lot of what you've been working on the past couple years with your full swing,
Hmm.
like the finesse game is the antithesis of that. Everything with
Yeah.
your full swing has been driving compression and shaft lean and all this stuff like that. You don't want that
No.
with finesse game. And like it's all about controlling spin, controlling launch, controlling I think low point and ball speed is kind of, it's all about, taking off, and you've been doing everything you can to, pile on. So I mean, you're bound to have, you know tendencies towards some struggle, or like the struggles you're having, I think, technically. But I also don't think that they're by any means insurmountable for you to just kind of make a change, and just say, because even like today, like I texted you, I sent you that short little snippet
Yep.
or whatever of just like, hey, this is what I see, and this is what I do differently. And you I watched your stories later, and you doing it,
Yeah.
like it looked better immediately. And
Hmm.
that's like, okay, you're a good enough golfer to tweak like that.
Hmm.
Easy. It's done. That's all you need to do.
Yeah.
Beyond that, it's the other pieces that you mentioned, like the confidence. Like if you don't have confidence with short game, you might as well just, like you
Right.
said,
Add three.
add three and move on.
Move on.
Because I mean, I who's the guy who, is it Crenshaw or Faxon or somebody who's with putting says it's more important to be confident than correct.
I think it's
I mean,
Crenshaw.
yeah, I mean, if you're, and that I would extend that back to any kind of um, touch based shot in golf. Like if you're not, or actually screw that, let's just extend that through the tee. I
Yeah.
mean, if you're not confident in what you're doing or what you're trying to do, it's not going to go well.
Yeah.
Like if you don't, that's why we talk about, envisioning and having clear pictures and stuff on pre-shot routines, because that's what instills like a concrete um image in your mind for your body to respond to. I mean, same thing, if you're tentative at all, it's not going to go well. So I mean, that's tough, because you can't just be like, okay, I'm confident now.
Right.
Because we all want to see it born out of past results. And it's hard when the freshest memories of past results are
Not great.
struggles. So,
Tough.
I mean, I think we have to remind ourselves and go back to something that we've talked about before on this, is like how little control you have on the golf course.
Yeah.
Like literally it could be the difference between one blade of grass between the ball and your club face,
Yeah.
and not, especially green side, because they're usually nestled down in there, and they come out different. Um, that's why we try and practice and get that IQ up as far as experience and like seeing how the ball reading lies and how the
Yeah.
ball's going to come out. But you don't have control. And the I think it's a lie to think that maybe we have more control just because the shot's closer,
Hmm.
or closer to the green.
That's a good point. That's yeah. I guess I didn't think about that. It's like why I do think that it's like, oh, if I'm 25 yards and in, I should be able to like on command get this thing within let's say 5 feet. But it's like, yeah, I mean, there are a lot of factors, and in like from a data perspective, big macro sense, large sample size, that's true, yes.
Sure.
But it's like, why why do I think I would have more control over what the ball is going to do? It stays on the face the same amount of time as a full shot. Like it once it leaves the face, I have zero influence over it. Um, which is true for every other shot, literally
Yeah.
every other shot on the
Yeah.
course. Doesn't matter the distance. So
Yeah.
I guess, yeah, I think, yeah, I think like beyond the short game stuff, which frustrates me. And when I get frustrated, I get like, my problem at that point is mental. So I allow this one part of my game that is not working out very well to influence every other part of my game. And I've got to figure out how to stop doing that. One of the things that that a lot of people jumped in my DMs and were like, "Oh, you just gotta relax. You gotta not care. You gotta you practice like it's you're playing in a major and you play like you're playing with your buddies." And it's just like that makes sense. I
Mm.
get why that would be. I understand why. It's like if you take the pressure off, if it's more fun, if you're not tied in, you're super tied into the results, then you're gonna play better. You're more relaxed. You're less likely to be negatively impacted by poor results, which I get it and I understand it. But also at the same time, like part of me is like, if I don't care, what's
Mm.
the point?
Mm-hmm.
If I don't care what I shoot, when I do shoot 68 or whatever, what's the point? Like, why? If it's like, oh yeah, like, oh, it wouldn't have mattered if I shot 68 or 78. I'm just out here having fun. It's like, yeah, that's true. But at the same time, I want to care and I want to play well. Like, I want to care and try hard and also play well. And I understand that if you put too much pressure on yourself, that makes it very difficult, and you have to kind of find a better balance. And I do need to work on that, and like I need to work on a lot of things, but that's one thing that even if it works, for me? It's like, what's the point then? If it's like, oh, just go out there and play like you don't care, okay,
I
then
don't think
why
that's
go
the
out and
answer.
play? Like, why am I out there?
I don't think
Uh,
that's the answer. I mean, you ask any tour pro if they ever feel nervous, and they'll say, "Yeah, I feel nervous, and that means I care." Like the
right.
good athletes don't dissociate completely from that. I don't believe. I mean, it has to mean something. That's why, like you say, I mean, that's what the reward is. Then is when it's so satisfying,
Yeah.
right? I think you know the this is just the great mystery of sport. I
Right.
mean, like, how do you get yourself to find the zone, or
The flow
whatever
state.
whatever it is that people want to talk about? Um, and I, I mean, it's nice probably to have so many people that are trying to be encouraging.
Yeah, no,
I also,
and I know
I
it's
also,
all coming from a very good place, so I'm
sure,
not gonna
sure,
get mad at anyone for saying
yeah,
it, but, like, I have this cognitive dissonance of just like, then why am I playing? Why am I
yeah.
out there?
Well, and I think too, like, this is maybe we're getting kind of deep here, but as a society, we really struggle to let people just be not okay.
Yeah.
And so it's immediately past any kind of commiseration and empathy to, well, let me fix it for you, or you just got to
Yeah.
do this, you just got
Right.
just just don't care, man,
Well,
or
I got a lot of
just
just chill out, bro. It's
just
like,
chill out, just calm down, and just step up there and hit it, man. You don't have to think at all. It's like, yeah, that's true, that would probably work, but now's not the time.
yeah.
Like, let somebody just be mad, because I mean, I think people need to work through things, and
Yeah.
as stupid and privileged as we are to be whinging about working through how good I'm chipping today, um,
Yeah.
you know, it's still real.
Yeah.
You
I
care.
mean,
You put a lot of time into this. You
I
put a
have.
lot of effort, a lot of money.
Hmm.
Like, this is a passion of yours. This is a pursuit, right? This for to make it maybe more esoteric and cheesy than it is. This is your craft, right?
Yeah.
You know?
I would, I would say that I identify, a lot of people, some people like identify their profession as like their craft. It's like,
Yeah.
I want to, and for a lot of, people that makes a ton of sense. For me, I don't identify that way. Like I do
Mm.
not in any of like when someone's like, "Who are you?" I would not one of the first things, or maybe even anything I say, be like, "Oh, I'm a independent manufacturer sales representative."
I just love
I
sales.
just love selling shit. No, I don't. I do it because it pays my bills, and if I could do something else, that paid my bills that I was good at, I would do it. Um, but it's path least resistance. I'm doing what I'm doing, and it's fine. So like golf really is, I mean, it's to your point, golf really is my craft. Like that is the thing that I'd like to be defined by. Um, but then you have guys like Scotty who are like, golf doesn't define me. It's like, well, I understand why he says that. I understand why he wants to have the mentality, because like golf is the way he makes money, and he doesn't want to get lost in the sauce and forget about, his other responsibilities as a father and a husband. uh, my mind need to get Scheffler on the Mid-Am podcast, dude.
Hey, Scotty.
Scotty, call us. I just, yeah, I care a lot about this. I care a lot about my game. I care a lot about improving. And no matter what, and like I said it the other day, I'm like, sometimes I hate how much I care about it.
Sure.
Sometimes I hate that
Yeah.
I've set my sights on playing well competitively, because I can't turn that off. I don't think I'll ever be able to turn that off. I
No.
don't I don't see a day in which I'm going to be able to revert back to just being like, yeah, I'm good with just kind of going out and like playing on the weekends and just trying to shoot a good score and calling it good. Like, nope. Like you cannot put the toothpaste back in the tube. I like, this is like my passion is now like, I want to play my best when the pressure's on. So, you know, yeah, when people say stuff like, "Oh, dude, just chill out, don't care," it's like, well, thanks, but also no.
Yeah. I
I'm not
mean,
going to chill out. I
like,
do care, and like I can't tell myself that I don't, because it's not true.
yeah. I mean, and that's kind of what I'm getting. I mean, I feel like to be good at anything, you have to care. I mean, history is full of stories of artists who are passionate about their work. I mean, Van Gogh cut off his ear, right?
Yeah.
Like, because he was pissed off about something. Um, you know, you have to be invested. And I also, I get that, like, guys at the professional level have to, their whole life is golf, so they have to make sure that their identity is not wrapped up in
Yeah.
just their performance. We're not, we have the luxury of, I mean, our podcast is that, like, our lives are, mm, you know given meaning outside of golf, but golf is also the thing that we love, and
Hmm.
the the passion, and the craft, the hobby, because
Yeah.
that's all it
It's,
is.
I
It
mean,
really
it's like
is.
a creative, it's like a
It's
creative outlet in a
yeah,
way. you
Yeah,
know?
exactly. So, we're gonna be different from pro. We should be different from pros there. If pros are like us, then I don't know what they're doing. Maybe, you know,
Yeah.
investing or something, or I don't know. They're so, but
Bitcoin.
like I don't know. Um, so yeah, I mean, we have a different balance that we have to strike. But at least when it comes to like you know, your big whys, like this is why I do this, or like this is where my value as a human comes from. Like we have to have something separate from that, I think, because golf is not going to give it to you. um
No.
or it'll give you the business just in a
Yeah, yeah,
not
it'll
in the way
give you
you want.
sometimes, but
It'll
then
give
it'll
us
make you pay for it.
That's right. So, but I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with caring, and I wasn't trying to like dog on anybody who sent you any kind of DMs either. I just think sometimes we need to just let people
Yeah.
um
Dude, just
be
like work through
be
my
with
feelings.
themselves for a
Yeah,
little
just
bit.
feel like,
Yeah, yeah,
and I'm just putting like I put that stuff
yeah.
out there.
Exactly. Yeah,
And I guess maybe a good disclaimer is like, because not every, other people do things. I can't say why other people do things that they do. I can tell you why I do the things that I do, especially on social media.
yeah.
I put stuff like that out there because I think it's important to show like both sides of life, right? And not that golf is life. Golf is fake. Golf is, it's not real, but it's it's something that we care about. And
You're like a genuine influencer. You're not the guy that
yeah,
just rolls in every.
I just
Super.
want, yeah, like I don't know. I want to avoid I want to avoid I just want to show like, hey dude, like
Yeah.
when it's nice to hear it's like misery loves company.
Sure.
And it's I don't mean this in a way that like I like to see other people struggle, but it's nice to know other people struggle because it means I'm not the only one. And
Absolutely.
so I put that out there to be like, because recently I've put out a lot of stuff about the successes I've had because I have been making a lot of progress and that's been cool. And I think it would just not, I think it would be disingenuous if I didn't show the really bad stuff that I do too, that like, because it's real. Like, if we didn't, if I try to pretend I didn't shoot 87 at the Oregon AM qualifier, like, and then just not address it, like, I don't know. I feel like that would be kind of icky. And so I put that
Sure.
stuff out there, not as a solicitation of advice or not trying to gas myself up and get people to tell me that like, oh no, bro, you're good. You're good. I put it out there to say like, hey, I'm struggling as someone who's pretty good at this game, relatively speaking, if you're looking at globally, pretty decent at the game. I still am struggling to the point where I'm like, dude, I don't know if I can hit another, I don't know how to hit, I might not know how to hit a chip shot. And so like, if you're a 14 handicap or whatever, and you're really struggling too, it's like, just know that even really good players like kind of go through that kind of,
Yeah.
or players that are better than you go through very similar stuff. Like I can guarantee you have not had a unique experience in golf. Um,
Yeah.
without question, like
Yeah.
everyone has gone through it and everyone goes through it and it's cyclical and you're not going to go through something once, like it's going to keep happening and you just kind of got to buckle up and develop some friggin' like perseverance. And that's something that the last couple of days I've just been like, dude, I've got to like be better at being a little bit more stoic, being a little bit more um just like better at managing emotions and better at managing
Mm.
like my the thoughts and the thoughts that go into my head and the stuff that comes out of my mouth, because like it's not helpful if I'm complaining. It's annoying. I know, like when other people do the things that I do, it's annoying. And so like I'm sure I'm annoying and not fun to be around. So like I've been thinking like, okay, I think I really need to challenge myself the next few times that I play to like all I care about is no matter what, I don't have any other thought in my mind, but like no negative talk at all. Nothing out of my
Yeah.
mouth is negative.
Yeah.
It just cannot be. I don't care what happens. I don't care if I stick to my processes or anything. Just like everything is positive, even if I don't want it to be. Pretend, just fake it, and
Yeah.
just find something positive to say and be positive. And um, will that make me play better? I don't. Maybe it might. It doesn't matter if it does. It
There's no guarantee, but
it's mostly like I just need to start putting reps in to be like, hey, dude, let's just be positive or objective. And right now, I need to, you know how you have to over exaggerate a feel. I have
yeah.
to over exaggerate this feel and just be like overtly positive, and then hopefully I can fall into like being more objective when it's appropriate, and then positive when it's appropriate, but like stay away from the negativity. So that's kind of like my promise to myself the next time I go out and play. It's just like positivity, like
Yeah.
almost to like an annoying level.
Yeah. Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think that that is something that's cool about golf is that it can be all about the score or it can be all about whatever you want it to be about.
Yeah.
Especially like amateur pseudo recreational golf, like and even competitive, I think golf. Um you can change the game to something that you can win. Because
Yeah.
I mean, real golf with is just stroke play golf. You can't win. Match play, other formats, sure, but stroke play, there's no winning. Um, so why try? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
good scores are a huge payoff, and you want to play well, which translates into you want to score well. Yes, all of those things we just covered that. We don't want to lose that, but you can change your score essentially into negative thoughts, positive thoughts, neutral thoughts, and keep score that way.
Yeah.
I mean, that's straight out of like Vision 54 and
Yeah.
the Be a Player book stuff that we did a book review on back in season 1. Check it out if you haven't listened to the episode. Like and describe and all that other crap.
Yeah. I'll do all this
So
stuff.
my daughter says that, like to describe.
Like to
So now I always say it, and I'm like, oh wait, no, it is actually subscribe.
subscribe,
But
but
yeah,
yeah,
anyway, like to describe.
like to describe.
Um, you got to swing with the flow.
Got to swing with the flow. That's right.
um, so I mean, I think that's one thing that's like that's advantageous to us as not professional golfers. Um, and even probably they do this at the professional level too. They
I'd
just don't
imagine
talk
so.
about it. But like this game can be about whatever you want it to be about.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, and to your,
and
I mean, like along that line, that's one of the things I was thinking of. It's just like, hey, what if the next time I played out, I don't actually keep the score or whatever. I will keep the score. I can't not keep the score. I'll
you'll
remember.
keep it in your head even if you didn't write it down. I'm the same way. Like I can't not keep score. I know what I'm at
Yeah.
always.
But it's like, hey, you know, it's a stable for type system. There's 3 points for every hole.
Sure.
If you stick to your process, if you stick to your process 100 for every single shot, and you had zero negative speak, zero negative, like speaking out loud, that's 3 points. Um, if you drop one of those things, so it's either like on one of your shots,
Mm.
you didn't stick to your process, but you kept you kept the negative talk to zero, or if you stuck to all your process, but you still said something negative. It can even be something as silly as like, "God, this green sucks." Uh,
This is gonna be a good test at
it
first.
doesn't be tough for me, dude.
I mean, at a golf course that's
At a
unnamed
golf
in
course
Gresham,
in Gresham, Oregon.
Oregon. Yeah.
Um, and then so that gives you 2 points. You get 1 point if you miss both, but you only miss one um process driven thing, and then you miss the negative speak. And then you get 0 points if if like say 2 shots, you missed your process and you missed your negative speak, or I don't know, the negative speak thing that might just be like, you get a bonus point if you stuck with that. But my
Sure.
thought with just from like a process perspective is like 2 points if you were perfect, 1 point if you only messed up one time, and then 0 points if you messed up 2 times or more from a like sticking to your process, going through your routine thing. And like just doing that and being like, hey, can I get a perfect score? Because I can, right? And I can control all of those things. I can control my process. So I could go out there and shoot 18 if I stuck perfectly to my process. And that is 18 out of 18. That's 100%. I won. I beat golf if I do
Sure.
that. But I can't go out there and shoot 9, which
Yeah.
would be beating golf. Like
Yeah.
that would be winning. Yeah, I can't do that. It's impossible.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's a good way to look at it. I was like, yeah, with stroke play, you
Yeah.
can't win. You can only maybe, you can do the best that you can in the moment, but you can't win. The course is always going to win. So you might as well just like shift your definition of success into something that is winnable. And
Yeah.
then I would imagine, like it's really, we've seen it with data and some of the stuff that we read, like
Hmm.
you'll see over time your scores will get better. You'll shoot some
Yeah.
of your better rounds.
Yeah. It's hard to have faith in those things where it's like these things will make me score better. This will
Yeah.
make my golf better. But it's like, but
Has
it has
nothing to
nothing.
do with
It has nothing to
swing.
do with golf.
Yeah.
It's um, one that kind of reminds me of something I started doing a couple years back. I was watching a video of Brad Faxon giving some putting lesson to somebody on YouTube, I'm sure. And he was talking about how he doesn't like to um give like quality statements about putts. He's like, this, I don't like to say like this is a hard putt or this is an easy putt, because immediately then you're tying like expectation to it. It's just a putt.
Yeah.
So it
It's
could
a 6 foot
be,
putt. It's a 10 foot
it
putt.
could go up over a tier and be a double breaker, and you can describe it like that, but it's not hard, or it's not impossible, or it's not easy. You're not quantifying it in that way. And so it helps you to remain more like neutral about
Yeah.
it. And then, I've started to try and expand that to everything, because I typically struggle off the tee, and I'm like, there are certain holes where I stand on the tee box and I'm like, all I see is the left white stakes,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I'm like, or like, oh, there's some trees kind of encroaching on the right, and I know like this is tough for me to try and get this in a playable position. And I'm like, man, this is kind of a tough tee shot. I'm like, wait, no, it's not.
Just a tee
It's
shot.
just a shot.
Yeah.
It's just a shot. And I think you can even, I haven't done this, but it just struck me to maybe try. It's like you can extend that to post shot analysis and post shot routine. It's like, okay, this is not a easy or difficult shot. It's this. It's a 10-foot chip that I'm going to try and land just like a pace onto the green. It's going to 2-hop, check, and release. Cool. That's what I'm going to try and do. That's what the shot calls for.
Yeah.
Cool. I try and hit that shot. It either is that or it isn't.
Right. They do that in Vision 54 where it's like, your objective or your positive. So it's like, oh, this shot did
Yeah.
this. Or it's like, oh, great. That did what I wanted it to do. And it ended up being a great, the result was good. And I think like, yeah, trying to tie, yeah, I mean, we all know it. I mean, even if you have a basic, like a very rudimentary understanding of psychology, like we know that you can kind of trick yourself into, if you smile and it releases endorphins, like it
Hmm.
just like that stuff isn't baloney, but it's hard in the moment for you to be like, this is what's going to fix my game. It's like, no, when I want to be like, no, I need to work on my technique. No, I need to work on my swing. No, I need to change clubs. No, I need to blah, blah, blah. It's like, maybe not, because you've hit good shots before. So maybe like do something else. And so like my whole thing is I'm thinking like, hey, just like let's do the opposite of what I've been doing, which is maybe just trying to like be a little bit too analytical, trying to like being a little bit too technical. And just like let's focus on something else, and then maybe the other stuff will just kind of work itself out.
Yeah.
And so and try that for a little bit, and at the same time build some kind of like soft skills, so to speak, of better, just having a better thought process, more positive, being more fun, being, and then ultimately going to get more enjoyment even out of the bad rounds. And so, yeah, that's kind of like my goal of trying to dig myself out of this slump, is just to say, hey, I'm out here. I'm grateful to be playing. And, um, I'm just going to try to frame everything around that, and whatever happens,
Sure.
happens, and trust that, like, I am a good player. I will hit good shots. I know how to, I have all the time in the world, realistically, to make good decisions. And if I just continue to make good decisions, eventually good things will happen. And trust that, even when it doesn't feel like that's going to work.
Hmm. And it's golf. So some days you're going to do all the right things, and a number is going to show up on the scorecard that you never thought, you could shoot again. And, you know, this instance, this round of, existential crises, you just need to remember it and like file it away. And it's in the same, you know, vein of like growth mindset of like, hey, I remember last time I shot some bad scores. It shook me to my core,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't think that that was possible anymore. And it is making me think and feel all these things that mean something about me or who I am as a player and a golfer. And it took me to a bad place, and it didn't do anybody any good, and it definitely didn't help me play better golf.
Yeah.
So next time you go out and fire off an 88,
Just say, oops.
it is what it is. It was 88 shots.
Yeah.
That's like that
That's what, yeah.
famous Sevy quote where somebody asked him about like how he five putted or something on a green, and he's like,
But if
I
I think
missed, I missed, I missed, I missed, and then I made. It's like that's it. Yeah.
that's a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
So, um, well, thanks for talking that through with me.
Yeah.
Just trying to get better at being a good golfer. But I think, this is the type of stuff that's cool about golf, is that it translates to real life too. Like those types of things
Absolutely.
come up. I've certainly had situations where I'm like really stressed about something that's not going to work out. And then, I mean, my wife will remind me all the time. She goes, "Remember the last time you were this stressed because it didn't work out? What happened?" I'm like, "Oh, well, it worked out." She goes, "Yeah, okay. So just,
Yeah.
you
Calm
know,
down.
go with that. And
Yeah.
until it doesn't work out, like,
You
you
just
don't,
gotta relax, man.
yeah, just relax. Yeah, dude, just chill out. Just don't care."
Yeah.
But yeah, so and thank you for folks for listening along. If you let us know if you've had similar situations, or maybe you're going through a slump. Talk to us. Hit us up. You can find us on Instagram at Midam Podcast. So you can shoot us a DM there. You can find me personally at Fade and Fairway. You can find Nathan at nathan.furumasu. I'll put all of those in the show notes so that you can hit us up and, share your experiences with us, preferably on the Midam account. It's a little easier for us to both see those and both be able to kind of interact there.
Yeah, I had a follow-up question that I jotted down, and I thought we could pull the audience for is, like we were talking about, like, I don't wanna just change my passion. I don't wanna just stop caring. But so then I have a question of like, well, how do you make your passion and the amount that you care an asset instead of a liability? So maybe there are strategies that people have found in the past. You could share those with us. We'd love to hear them.
I'm
Or
going to make that a reel. Put it in the
something
comments
to
below.
ponder.
Put
Yeah.
it in the comments below. This will be a reel.
Yeah.
That was less than 90 seconds. So perfect. Yeah, that's a great question. And hopefully we can get some good answers from folks who have been where we are, or I am. I'm not gonna drag you into this. Where I am.
Oh,
Uh,
well, I'm adjacent.
and yeah. So let us know. We'd love to hear from you. And also please be sure to check out our birdie-thon.
Yeah,
Despite
man.
my, my my trip to the cliff's edge, I have, we've racked up a couple more birdies. So,
Yeah, man.
we're doing it for the kids. Doing it for the
We're up
kids.
to nearing 30, I think.
Yeah. So,
So that's pretty good.
yeah. So help us support Oregon Junior Golf by pledging either a dollar amount per birdie made this season by Nathan and I collectively, or you can just donate a fixed amount, and that'll help us towards our goal of raising at least $1,000 for charity this year, as part of the podcast. And I'll put the link in the show notes as well, and that's also on our Instagram link. If you're watching on YouTube, which is a great reminder that we simulcast these on YouTube, you just saw a very fun graphic. That was incredible. Was that intentional?
I don't know what I just did.
My God.
That was you? That wasn't me?
I didn't do anything.
That was you?
That was all you. I didn't touch anything, dude.
Can I do it again? I just did thumbs.
Oh my God. That's so
up.
fun. Oh
wow.
my God. What if
that's where? No.
Oh, dude,
Scoot
that
back.
sucks.
Weird. I got the magic thumbs, I guess.
That's incredible. Well, that's a reminder to
I only get 2 around.
Maybe we only get 2 for free.
Yeah.
As a reminder, check us out on YouTube if you want to see our beautiful faces as we talk about stuff, because sometimes there's a visual element, like the incredible video effects that just happened here.
That was amazing.
Again, thanks again to the sponsor of this week's episode, Adele.
Hello.
We're so happy to have them, and I'm hoping we're gonna have some irons soon, because I'm getting itchy. I feel like I got ants all over my body.
I got problems about waiting on these irons.
Me too.
I'm spending all of my monies just so that other things will arrive at the house.
Retail therapy.
Yeah, something has to get here if the clubs aren't going to get here.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks everyone for hanging out with us. Until next week, we'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.